their experiences from where we can cross learn from each other, and then we can move forward in some direction. The five pathways of flame are as shown on the slide. Number one is fostering school excellence. Second is leading innovation in vocational education and training. Third is the advancement in workplace performance. Fourth is mastery through CPD. And the fifth one is engagement and research and conference. So these are the five pathways of flame in which we are endeavoring to and focusing to work on. So we'll just go through this one by one. First of all is the fostering school excellence, in which this pathway covers development of school management. And as a very important part of this is setting up integrated school development system, ISDS, which is a holistic system which develops schools 6 cardinals, all the important 6 cardinals together in parallel to ensure that school develops as one holistic unit and the development is not in parts. And second thing which is covered here is the school leadership training and ultimately preparing schools for ISO 21001. In school, we are looking at faculty development, in which there's a couple of skills. This is not the full list, just to show a couple of skills we have listed here, which we are targeting to develop in schools. So it's shown. I'll not go through this because you can all go through this list. And these are very common skills required by the teachers to deliver their instructions. If you look at the last two, leadership development and research skills. Rana Gulrez, sir, please mute your mic, please. Rana Gulrez, Delhi, sir. Okay. Thank you. So the last two things, leadership development and research skills, which we feel are very important for schools teachers to help school grow. Then the second thing is the student development. Besides learning performance, we feel students should be equipped with the soft skills, which will help them in their work life and higher education after school. And the skills covered are the learning skills, IT skills, comm skills, and all these presentation skills, decision-making skills, teamwork. You will see that, I mean, in our schools, a common observation is that students are heavily loaded, heavily dosed with curriculum only, leaving no time for their personal development. As a result, you have students with good grades, but weak personalities. That's where the flame feels. Okay, besides developing faculty, we should also focus on the students also and grow them into a mature learner, where they can take responsibility of their own learning. And then when they step into the practical work life, they are ready with soft skills. Third one is the curriculum development, in which we're focusing on curriculum enhancement and student-centered learning. Then the learning resource development and stakeholder development. So these are the 6 cardinals, as I said in the beginning, that these are the 6 cardinals which must grow together as one holistic system so that the school progresses upward. Because if you ignore any one of these 6 cardinals, that weak cardinal will have a pull effect on other cardinals also, and school will never develop in the way the leadership wants to develop it. So these are the 6 cardinals on which a school should focus in one go. And Flame promotes, advises, suggests that schools should focus on all these 5 cardinals for development. Then a similar model is followed for vocational education and training, in which instead of the integrated school development system, now we got a strategic training and evaluation management system, STEMS. Other things are same because we got same faculty, same students, same curriculum, same learning sources, and same stakeholders. Just to do a few seconds on stakeholder development. Although we say that stakeholders are very important for a school, parents, I mean the society, the educational governing bodies, the government, all are important, but it is rare that these stakeholders are fully involved into the management and leadership of the school. We suggest that since stakeholders are very important cardinal of a school, they should be taken on board in every aspect of the school. It's not only the feedback on students' results, not only the parent-teacher meetings, but also they should participate. They should be grown, groomed, and developed by the school to take part into the school management initially, and then ultimately take part into the school leadership. Next thing is the workplace performance. The work organizations, we're looking at setting up, looking at the improvement of organizational L&D systems, where we suggest setting up strategic training and evaluation management system, and then management leadership training. And beside this soft skills training, this list is not complete. It's just 4 skills to show to you. This is just a sample that we will be focusing, inshallah, on provision of all these skills to work organizations. Besides this, continuous professional development, we are looking at continuous CBD in collaboration with international partners to deepen expertise and sustain professional growth. And these are certain pathways, some of the pathways in which we are focusing on: business leadership and management, education and training, healthcare and life sciences, soft skills and human capital development, engineering and industrial skills, technology and digital transformation, and finance and compliance. It's just some of the areas in which we are developing our expertise with the help of our international partners to excel as your allies, not as your solution providers, but as your allies who are standing with you, beside you, to help you grow in all these areas. Next one is the research and the conferences. As a part of research, we are launching the Journal of Leadership and Educational Excellence. That's a tri-annual journal with 4 axes, which means we'll have 3 issues per year. And the 4 axes are, first of all, the from the front lines, where we will invite industry leaders to share their leadership thoughts with us. Second one is the from the field. We will be gathering practical insights by the working professionals, managers, teachers, principals, who will help us with their experiences from the field. Third one is the emerging scholars. We will provide this space for university students, especially undergrad students, who are not required to publish their projects, research, but if they want to publish it, they can publish it here without any concern for the rigorous research methodology. They can just share their thoughts, their research findings on this journal. And the last one, but the most important one, is Next Gen Forum, articles by school students. So if you look at this, from classroom to boardroom, I call it from classroom to boardroom. Just one journal will gather so much of diverse knowledge into one issue that it will be of interest to all levels of the audience. And we are in touch with these people to gather information. And the first journal will be launched, inshallah, April 2026. That's the cover of the journal coming up. And the call for articles, SS, is already on for the volume 1, issue 1, which is coming up in April 2026. We are looking at education leaders, teachers, and students. And all of you, since you belong to education and you are at the managerial level, some of you may be at a leadership level, so you can participate. Just visit our website, flames-forum.com, and go to the research and conferences section, and then you will see how to contribute for this journal. I request all of you to participate and to encourage your students as well to participate, because this will give a chance to you and to your students to stand among the scholars of great eminence, so to gain confidence and help them in the future to take up research work. Next thing is the conferences. We are aiming at 3 conferences every year: a Flames Conference on Leadership Excellence, Flames Conference on Education Excellence, and Flames Young Leaders Conference. So we'll be taking up these conferences one by one, inshallah. And as I said at the beginning, we are looking at partnerships and accreditations, and we are committed to building strategic partnerships and securing international accreditations, aligning with globally recognized standards, creating excellence through world-class standards, which is coming up. Thank you very much for all this time which is given to me. Together, inshallah, we shall grow. And a small intro of the session today. We have public-private partnerships to improve quality education in government schools by Mr. Foad Baig. What is an ex-naval officer? Mashallah, he retired as a Rear Admiral, and now he's acting as a CEO of Moawin Foundation. And his areas of expertise include corporate governance, intelligence analysis, and professional planning. So with this short intro, I just stop here and over to Foad Baig for his part. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, thank you very much for a very enticing presentation on the forum of Flame, and also for the introduction. If you allow, sir, I will keep the talk a little bilingual so all our participants can understand. So कुछ हम उर्दू में भी बात कर लेंगे, कुछ इंग्लिश में भी बात कर लेंगे, ताकि सब लोग इससे फायदा उठा सकें. फ्लेम एक न्यूली एस्टैब्लिश्ड फोरम है, लेकिन ये एक ऐसी जगह है जहां बहुत ही फोकस्ड तरीके से जो पर्टिनेंट एरियाज हैं लीडरशिप और मैनेजमेंट के, उसको लेके आगे चला जा रहा है. एंड आई फील ऑनर्ड कि मुझे ये मौका मिला है कि मैं यहाँ पे अपना जो कुछ हम्बल एक्सपीरियंस है वो यहाँ पे शेयर करूँ. आज जो हमारा मौजू है जिसपे आई एम गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट एजुकेशन, बट एजुकेशन इज सच अ वास्ट फील्ड that you can't really talk about education in an hour. It takes a lifetime to cover education. So I have to restrict the scope of this talk and the scope that I will bring for discussion in this group is public-private partnership to improve quality of education in government schools in Pakistan. So first of all, the concept of public-private partnership, then a global context of how this concept is performing globally, then how it has been adopted in the government schools in Pakistan, and Moawin Foundation, my current engagement where I'm the CEO, how Moawin Foundation has taken up this challenge, and I would like to share the experiences जो हमारे तजर्बा है इस public-private partnership में government schools को adopt करके improve करने का. So I would like to share my experience with the audience and invite their valuable comments and suggestions on how we can improve further. एक presentation से I will start. So first of all, I'll share the presentation. So I hope everybody can see. Sir Iftikhar, can you see the presentation, please?
Yes, I can see it. Yes, thank you.
Okay. So Moawin Foundation believes in transforming lives through education and skill development. This is the problem. There are 25.3 million children out of school in Pakistan. This could be the population of a medium-sized country. And even those, another 20 plus million who are in school, especially in government school, face insurmountable challenges. There's insufficient resources in government schools. There's lack of trained and motivated teachers. There's poor accountability and environment. There's limited community engagement. And even enrolled children still lack basic literacy and numeracy, conceptual understanding, critical thinking, and problem solving. We can clearly see that the state lacks the agility, capability, and flexibility which is needed to address this problem. So why public-private partnership? इसकी क्यों जरूरत है public-private partnership की education में? First of all, of course, education is a national priority. Education वो means है जिससे एक raw human resource एक asset में convert हो जाती है. तो किसी भी state की सबसे बड़ी अहम जिम्मेदारी ये होती है कि वो अपने लोगों को groom करे. So government and the state is responsible and constitutionally bound to provide basic education to the children. However, due to the bubble of population, the uncontrollable rise in the population of the country and suffering economy, we've come to a state where the state is unable to do it on its own. And that's why there's a need for us to join hands. We need the private sector to come in and leverage its strength along with the government, work together to overcome the gaps that are actually leading to this downfall of education. So it's a focus on a collaborative reform, both government and private partnerships join together and bring their own synergies to the fore. So what is public-private partnership in education? First of all, shared objectives. What are our objectives? At the end of the day, the education is about the students and their learning outcomes and their grooming as a responsible citizen of the state. So turning a raw talent into a skilled and groomed individual that is good for the society and can contribute meaningfully to the economy of the country, to the industrial sector, the business sector, it doesn't matter which sector, wherever this human resource should go, they should deliver and improve the country's output. So this is the shared objective. Government shares it, the private entities share it. So this is a common goal of both. And then there is shared accountability. So unless somebody is accountable, the performance can never really be at its effective peak. The element of accountability not only brings in an element of check, but also actually brings awareness about what are the standards to be maintained. And then there's a motivation and there's a spirit to actually achieve those goals once the accountability sets in and you are repeatedly held responsible to achieve the goals that have been agreed mutually between you and the state together. And of course, the outcomes must be performance-based. You have to reflect your performance in a measurable way so that the government and the private parties have a contract that at the end of the investment that they make, the outcomes should be tangible and easily identifiable. So if we talk about the role, what are the roles between the government and the private party? Of course, the government will provide the policy, funding, the oversight, and the legitimacy, whereas the private party bring in management, innovation, efficiency, and community engagement. अभी जब हम फ्लेम में बात कर रहे थे तो आपको नजर आया होगा कि फ्लेम में भी कम्युनिटी के बारे में बात की गई थी, स्टेक होल्डर्स के बारे में बात की गई थी. When you're operating in the rural areas and when you're operating in the socially deprived communities, the community engagement is a must. Without the full support of the community, the girls in Pakistan's rural areas cannot even come to school. What to talk about education and developing their potential. Similarly, young children are considered hands in the field. They earn bread for the family. So what incentives would bring them to the school instead of acting on a shop or as a labor in the field? It is actually these engagements, community engagements, which show them the bigger goals in life beyond merely earning a living. But ultimate goal should be improved learning outcomes, and ultimate beneficiary should be the students. So there's no doubt about that. If you look at global evidence, पूरी दुनिया में इस तरह के मॉडल यूज हुए हैं, उनके बारे में थोड़ी सी क्विकली बात करेंगे. But at the end, global evidence is कि जहां भी गवर्नमेंट्स चैलेंज हुई हैं एजुकेशन, बेसिक एजुकेशन खास तौर पे प्रोवाइड करने में, स्कूल की एजुकेशन, तो वहां public private partnership say they've come up with improved outcomes. This model of public private partnership is more cost effective and it brings in stronger accountability in the system, which works to improve the outcomes and the standards. So USMA, there's a concept of these chartered schools. The charter schools are, there's public funding involved, but there's independent management and there's strong performance-based results which are accounted. And these are now vastly present. Close to 50, almost 47 states have already these charter schools in place where communities take charge of the school. In UK, there's a concept of academies. The academies have operational autonomy. They have improved leadership from within the community. And this has, over the years, led to better outcomes of these academies rather than the normal public schools. Even in Latin America, the Fi Alegra, which is a faith-based non-profit managed school system, it has consistently outperformed traditional schools. So coming over to Pakistan, in Pakistan, this concept has been tried by the government of Punjab and government of Sindh. Government of Punjab has had initially come up with the Punjab Education Management Education Initiative Management Authority, PIMA, and later another organization by the name of Punjab Education Fund, and then Punjab Education Foundation, and Sindh has come up with Sindh Education Foundation. These are autonomous bodies, although they're affiliated with the government, but they're autonomous in their function, and they have been privatizing, not really privatizing, sorry, they've been adopting a public-private partnership model where they've outsourced the school to non-profit organizations and individuals as well. And this is a scalable model where you can actually continue to increase the number of partners, and the schools which are improved would continue exponentially. If you look at the outcome of these two initiatives, the outsourcing under performing school has led to improvement. Performance-based contracts have been signed, and independent monitoring and learning outcomes have been observed. This has revived failing schools, this has improved teacher attendance, and this has enhanced student enrollment and retention in these schools. And similarly in Sindh, in the province of Sindh, the Sindh Education Foundation has two models, the public school program and the Federation Assisted School, Foundation Assisted School. And these two have actually been run by NPOs and funded by the government. And the performance has been linked to enrollment and student performance. So you get money per student. The stipend given to the private party is per student. So if there is greater enrollment, you get more funds to improve these schools. So this is an incentive which is built in. And the student performance is checked through quality assurance tests by the monitoring and evaluation teams of these organizations like Sindh Education Foundation and Punjab Education Foundation. In Sindh, the impact has been better learning outcomes have been observed, and these are recorded, and lower cost per student. So if the government was to spend money on these schools for these outcomes, they would spend some 3 times the funds which these private NPOs are now currently utilizing. So the same problem, how Moawin Foundation sees it, Moawin Foundation is focused on providing sustainable model where we can transform the government schools. This is our outreach in general. As you can see, we are all across Pakistan from GB right till Sindh, and 243 schools in Punjab alone. So our approach is to respect the public institutions. First of all, we do not consider them beneath our standard, or that government schools are no good. We understand and we respect that some of the best heroes of Pakistan have come through these schools, and these are the institutions which have the potential to come back to their glory days if they are handled effectively. We focus on the learning outcomes and then community ownership that I discussed earlier as well. This is our coverage of the public-private partnership. As you can see, mostly we have schools in Attak and Chakwal area, and covering different tehsils within these districts. So baseline situation, when we inherited the school at the time of taking over in October 2024, the schools were unsafe in dilapidated buildings. There was no clean water. There was no sustainable energy solution. The buildings were damaged. The boundary walls were broken. There was fragmented responsibility, unclear roadmap as to how the schools were to improve. The teams were also incomplete. And the reality was that schools were functional, but below minimum safety and service standards, which are observed globally. So the strategic approach we adopted was that the teachers' capacity building and student learning outcomes should be the top priority. Student safety and retention should be on the top. Essential and basic services should come before the aesthetics. Sustainable and climate resilient infrastructure should be added. Phased execution should take place with status tracking by the monitoring and evaluation teams. System automation and technical monitoring should come in place, and we should be aligned with government. Our goals should be aligned with the government and those other CSR partners who fund our organization. So we shifted from an ad hoc to a structured, trackable framework through Moawin Foundation. So in school support, we improve the governance. First of all, the head teacher is the key. I think principal or head teacher, I use the word head teacher because not all schools that we are looking after have principals. Some of these schools are in very remote areas and in very basic conditions. Some of them are in a 2-room facility or a 3-room facility, although we have bigger schools as well. So the head teacher or principal is actually the leader, and that's where the Flames educational leadership model comes into play. This is the guy who will take your organization's vision and turn it into reality. If you fail at this level, if you pick up the wrong person in this role, I can tell you that no amount of resources will be able to turn around the school. We had this experience in Sindh. We have 2 schools. मैं थोड़ा उर्दू में बोल दूं कि जो कच्चे के डाकुओं का इलाका है ओबाड़ो, लोग वहां जाने से भी डरते हैं. अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह हमारा वहां का स्कूल जो है it's a school of excellence. और similarly घुटकी जो साथ vicinity में है, these are some of the best schools of Moawin Foundation. They are performing better than the Beacon House and the educators of those areas. So mashallah, these are most sought after schools, and the schools are brimming with good students and filled to the capacity. ये कैसे मुमकिन हुआ? This only was possible by the leadership of the two principals. Initially, when we adopted these schools, the principals were, they lacked motivation. They were passing their time. They didn't have the motivation or the sincerity to translate our initiatives, which we wanted to take in these schools. The moment we got the two principals that are now incumbents in place, Alhamdulillah, it just suddenly transformed the whole thing. So it's very important to select the right teacher. Then there should be a person in the coordinator role who should look after the admin side. If you put the principal and burden him with a lot of coordination role, then he cannot supervise the academic side and the quality side that eagerly. So a very strong administrative qualities for the coordinator, and then select the teachers on merit. And once you selected them, put them through a continuous development program so that they improve progressively, monitor their performance through training initiatives. And in these initiatives, there should be a pre and post analysis that where they stood before the training and what were the outcomes after the training. And finally, see those results in the student learning objectives and in the exam results of the class. And you would find how effective your indulgence has been. So improve governance, teachers' capacity building, conducive learning environment. That's another point that I would like to talk about. In some of the schools where we went, we found that there were no girls, no female students. And when we inquired what was the reason behind that, they said there's no female specific toilet in the school. And the only reason people were not sending their girls to school was because there was no proper toilet. Similarly, there are schools where there is no electricity for the entire school period. Similarly, there are schools where the buildings are dangerous and the plaster peels off and falls in the classrooms. So a conducive learning environment starts with safety, hygiene, wash facilities, but it doesn't stop there. It moves much further, and it goes to providing blended learning in the class using tools, edtech tools, providing e-learning, and creating an environment where kids love to come to the school rather than staying back. Once we introduced the LEDs, the screens with the Android boxes having, animated lessons which teachers use for blended training, these students had never seen a screen in some of our schools. The villages never had an LED. They had never witnessed an LED. So the enrollment just spiked like anything. The kids would just get attracted to the school to look at the LED and look at the environment in which, they felt so entertained by the environment itself. And then it was so much easier to bring them to learning and the education part as well. And all this needs to be clubbed with monitoring and mentoring. Monitoring, there's a sense that there's an inspector coming and monitoring you. But mentoring is actually sitting with those young girls who are students in our very remote schools and enhancing their capacity and capability to perform better. So we don't just monitor and pressurize the teacher. We actually mentor them through counselors and through technology support, edtech technology support in lesson planning and question making and things like that. And that combination of mentoring and monitoring, although I've written monitoring and mentoring, I believe in mentoring and monitoring. You should first mentor and bring the teacher up to that level and then monitor their continuous professional development. So in terms of teachers development, of course, you need the various programs as I've highlighted. I'll not go into a detail of these because I've already covered a lot of them. But the last one on the right is important. EdTech, this is where the rote memory system gets defeated. I'll admit, I have no shame in admitting that when I was studying in the school, my primary start was rote memory. And it's a very interesting thing what Dr. Iftikhar has written on his LinkedIn. He has reversed the Bloom's taxonomy. So if you go and see his LinkedIn, you'll find a very interesting concept where, the rote memory is not required because you already understand the concept. It is part of your memory even before there's a need to memorize it. So that's a slight diversion. But what I'm saying is the EdTech, the ability to put videos in Urdu language in these schools for kids to see and understand rather than to read and understand. We've seen remarkable difference in cognitive gains when people see the video. They see the breakup of, like, when they're seeing the eye, it's a 3D visual of an eye breaking up, opening up, and the iris and the lens and everything is actually on display, and the whole system of light going in and image formation is actually displayed in the video. I think no amount of reading from the book can give the level of explanation that a well orchestrated video can give. And we've seen this in our schools as well, the effect. So we provide teachers, there are a lot of teachers missing in schools, so we provide teachers against vacant posts. Then we do regular teachers training, focusing on pedagogy and blended learning through some experts like Ali Institute. Then we have partners in Moawin Foundation, developments in literacy. We don't do it alone. We do it with the people who are the best in the field, and we engage with them. Similarly, we work with the American Board for certification of teachers. In Pakistan, as you know, there's no requirement for certification of teachers, but we are actually grooming our teachers to go for certification and help them come up to that level where they can be employed globally as well. And we partnership with Sabak, that's again an edtech company which provides very high quality video content. Tech Valley, who represent Google. So we have Chromebooks in our school, and these Chromebooks have learning management system built into it. And there are so many facilities within the Chromebook environment that the children today can actually learn at par with one of the best schools while sitting in remotest of areas of Pakistan. And similarly, Google and Taleemabad is another edtech company. So these are some of the leaders in the industry that we're working at. We provide missing facilities, resources, stationery, textbooks, and uniforms, and we establish the early childhood care and education classrooms. So this is another concept, what we used to call nursery, kachi, KG. This concept has been refined into early childhood care and education. And this is actually a sub-component of early childhood development, which starts from the lap of the mother and goes up till 7-8 years. It's a very broad concept, which is well known across the world, but not well known in Pakistan. So we are actually putting the pieces together, and ECC is one of the things that we are focusing on. Then we believe that there should be a whole personality grooming. We should not just focus on the academics. We should also groom in terms of all elements of personality. So we have life skill based education where children know about good touch, bad touch, the menstrual health related things for the girls, taboo topics that nobody used to talk about. We're able to go in very remote areas, and through a systematic approach where we take the parents first on board and then the teachers approach the children, we've been able to provide life skill to these young girls in the remotest parts of the country. Our partners there are Ahang, it's a Karachi-based organization, and Nestle is of course global company. We also introduced the concept of honor shop. I think military people are familiar with it. Others may not be familiar. That there's a shop where there's nobody supervising. Everything has a price tag. You pick up the thing and put the money back. This is the kind of concept we are introducing in our schools. The techniques that we use for educating them is storytelling techniques, spelling bee competitions, and modern approaches like that. We're also very concerned about the climate action and climate education. So we've established nature clubs and green drives within our schools, and there are green shed projects where actually children grow vegetables in some of the village schools. Community, as I mentioned earlier, is very important. So parent involvement we all know about, but also the community involvement is very important. So we have the school management committees in which all the influentials of the villages are present, and they actually guide us as to how and where the funds should be spent. So they have a kind of a financial authority on the funds that are to be spent in school, and that gives them the sense of belonging. And then they are also part of the the maintenance of the school and the cleanship of the school and provision of clean water in schools and so on and so forth. So we have seen that this has actually helped improve student attendance and reduced dropout rates because the parents and the community is involved. We have sustainable and innovation interventions like eco-friendly classroom. These are zero carbon bamboo and mud structure. This inspiration we took from Madam Yasmin Lari. She's a very renowned and honored architect of Pakistan, and she did this kind of construction post floods, massive super floods in Sindh. We took up the idea and we've constructed classroom based on the same technique. This costs much less, much easier to build, much easier to maintain. It's cool in summers and hot in winters, and the community can do the maintenance of the walls, etc. By itself. There's no concrete involved. There's no steel involved in this. This has been tried, and in fact, there was a Dawn report, so we're very proud. Dawn newspaper reported about the first ever eco-friendly classroom was made by Moawin Foundation in Taxila. So that was recently in the newspapers as well. We also provide clean drinking water, so we provide RO plant, and we've got a partnership with certain companies which act in this field, and we are providing clean filtered water in all our schools. And this is not just for the school, but the entire community benefit. This is the glimpse of the eco-friendly classroom in Taxila, and this is all bamboo and mud and lime structure. And within this class, you have the LED. If you notice the picture at center bottom, within this mud classroom, you have an LED where you have the EdTech on display, where you have a whiteboard, you have beautiful, all these pictures are within this igloo structure. And kids just sit on the floor, and we have desks as well, we have chairs as well, but normally they would just sit on the floor and do their work. And we found this to be a very effective model, and enrollment in this school tripled after the introduction of this classroom in Taxila. This is a glimpse of the RO plants that we are putting in the schools. And this is an area in Jand. I don't know how many people know about Jand. So this is an area close to Attak where we provided, in Dhok Hindu is the name of the school. And here we partnered with PPL, Pakistan Petroleum Limited, as one of our donors. So what actually changed? Schools are now safer, more functional. There's enhanced and improved infrastructure. There's improved attendance and enrollment, better learning environment, renewed community trust, and automate monitoring and reporting process. So if you look at the impact, a snapshot of the impact, there's better discipline and morale in 203 schools that we've adopted. Literacy and numeracy has improved. More than 8,000 benefits. Students have benefited. More than 600 teachers and staff have been supported. Safety risks have been addressed. Enrollment has increased by nearly 40%. And that's, I think, the key fruit for me, that 40% enrollment means the out-of-school children that we were talking about are coming into school, which is very encouraging. So PSRP has scaled, stabilized, and improved public school within 1 year. This is in line with some of the SDGs. I'll not go into the details of that, but you can understand that it's not just education, it's also about clean drinking water and eco-friendly rooms, etc., low carbon. The lessons, the public-private partnerships must be outcome-focused, not input-focused. Strong monitoring and evaluation is essential. Government ownership and oversight is mandatory. And the management, the community participation is not optional, it is critical. Way forward, I think we need to scale this initiative. Already, I think this is the way the government of Punjab is headed, the government of Sindh is headed. Recently, KPK has also floated an expression of interest. We've also participated for Mardan. So hopefully they're also going that way. And I've heard that Balochistan government is also considering public-private partnership model as well. But what is very important is that we ensure policy continuity beyond political cycles. This should not die down in 2 years, because if that happens, then I think it's very difficult to rebuild the trust of all the people who are actually putting so much effort and resources into this. This is a national cause, and it must be, it should be bipartisan and without any political prejudice. And we must encourage the credible NGOs. So there'll always be fraudster. There'll always be people who will try to make money out of it. I think the government should monitor the NGOs, grade them, which they are doing actually. And only those who perform well should be given greater role as we move forward in this process. So to conclude, of course, it goes without saying that education is what builds the nation. If you don't want to be a crowd and you want to be a nation, the education is the tool. Education and skill development are the tools that will actually convert you into a nation. And government alone cannot meet this challenge, not in our country at least. The population bubble is bursting and bursting and bursting, and still there's no end. And the amount of youth that we have, it is just impossible, I guess, for government to do it with the economic condition of the country. So the public-private partnership is a practical model, and I think adopting well-designed partnerships will prove worthy. So I thank you very much. It's been a rather long talk. So I would like to hear your input, views, comments, and would like to learn from your experience as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fuad. Thank you for such a comprehensive presentation. And now we are fully aware of what great job and a task, I would say a sacred task, Moawin Foundation is doing. I'm sure the participants here had a nice learning from your experiences and from this public-private partnership. I'm also sure there must be a lot of questions, queries, and observations. So it's up to you now. I just leave it open. There's no controlled session for Q&A. I mean, you can just wait for your turn, and as you find a gap, just step in, jump in, and talk to Fawaz. Please start off. Shoot. Thank you much.
I would like to thank Ishal for her message. Ishal has just sent a message saying that she actually got some value out of it, so I'm happy. Faisal, I would like to hear something from you. I know, mashallah, your talent and your background in education. So I would like to hear something from you. Maybe share your experience or your ideas about it, Faisal Shabir.
Faisal, can you hear Fawad?
So it was a wonderful session, no doubt, learned a lot. Definitely we need initiatives at all levels and everywhere to improve our education. That is the baseline from where we start actually.
What just one observation from my side? There is a gap in Balochistan. What's your plans for Balochistan?
Yes, sir. It's a very important question. I think that is the direction where we're headed. If we can have the mics off because there is echo, I think because of mic.
Mohammad Hafiz sir. Mohammad Hafiz sir, please mute your mic.
जी हफीज साहब अगर माइक भी ऑफ कर अच्छा सर बलूचिस्तान में what we did is we need community support in Balochistan. The environment in Balochistan is such that unless you have a community to support you with the background of the organization, the chairman and the CEO, I think going without community support will always be a challenge. So we are in touch with certain community leaders and we've asked them recently, our GM program, Faraz, he talked to Zubaida Jalal Sahiba. She hails from area near Turbat, and she's indicated that she may be willing to create some community support for us, for our initiatives, where we will inshallah be entering Balochistan. We do wash activities, like we provide water in Balochistan, relief in Balochistan, but for school to run, the community support is quintessential. Without community support, the best of the effort in education is seen as an alien intervention. And from the naval background, you would remember that we have created military schools as pockets of excellence. But if you go to the community and talk to them, they don't really own those institutions. Rather, they're seen as isolated areas of excellence where they feel that perhaps some selected people take benefit, and the community does not feel that they are truly benefited. So we don't want to create another model like that. We would love to participate where the community would welcome. We're making that effort, and I hope with Madam Zubaida Jalal coming on board, we should see something in Balochistan very soon.
What your point is very valid, because community engagement hinges upon community benefits. We have to start from benefits first of all. Again, reverse Bloom's taxonomy. start from benefits. Ultimately, you'll get the support. In my view, because people are maybe scared of the interventions in the communities, which whereby they believe that things may go out of their control or may not be of any benefit to them. So I think we have to start from benefits first and convince them that these are the benefits and you are the controllers, you are the owners. You have to give them the ownership. And I mean, as I said, in my model, stakeholders are very, very important. So if you convince stakeholders, this is your house, your school, your institution, you run it. So as a model, if you could just step back in the background and let the community run a school as a model school, I'm sure with this participation of community, the motivation will come in, and they'll gain the confidence that this is ये हमारा school, this is our school, हमारे बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं, हमें इसका benefit हो रहा है. So what do you say, Fawad?
Exactly, sir. This is why the military institutions have been, they're performing very well on a certain scale, where the quality of education is there, and the kids who are eventually ending up there are performing very well. But if you really go to the community and ask about these schools, they're still seen as pockets of excellence. So in our model, what we would do is, first of all, the community influencer, somebody who's a proactive, person in the community, will actually convince them that this school is not another intervention by authoritative, background people who are coming to take something from you. Rather, it is your school which will be built for your purpose, and you would be controlling that schools, and you would run it for the benefit of your children. Now, this takes a lot of doing, sir, especially with the background of the chairman and myself with ranks that are attached with our name. There's a lot of challenge in convincing the people about this. So we are still waiting for a community leader who can go past this barrier and actually bring us in. And we selected Madam Zubaida Jalal because we believe she has that background. She can actually create a conducive environment for our intervention in Balochistan.
I think language could be one tool for you to interact with them. If you could, hire some people who can talk their language, talk in their terms, understand the culture, and just remove all the fears what the community may have for such type of intervention. Ultimately, I think they will come to the terms, because once they see things coming to their benefit, I'm sure they will, inshallah.
Yes, sir. I think the face of the organization should be local. Should
Local
be
face,
from
yeah.
the community.
Yes,
if we
you're
have
right.
face from within the community, only then we'll succeed. So that's exactly the barrier that we're working on, that we can find somebody who's capable, motivated, and willing to work with us from within these communities. Only then we will go and intervene.
But remember the Navy's model of Ormara and Gawada staffing. We tried to have a person of like, for example, Adnan Jan Baloch, remember? He was from Pasni, and he was put at Ormara for a long time. So just talk to the locals and gain support of the locals. So that model was very, very successful, isn't it?
Yes, that's true, sir. And
Yeah.
if you look at what happened after he left, then you can see the difference as well. So you're absolutely right. We need people from the community, people who are seen as locals, to be in charge of these initiatives. That's very important.
So anybody else? Any questions? Because we are getting a lot of comments. Thank you so much for information section. Thank you very much and all these things. But you must be having some burning queries. Please shoot what is available before he leaves. And you leave with the queries. Don't let him go.
But I would also like to discuss with you the FLAME framework coming into play in these schools, because actually what FLAME preaches at a macro level, we actually translate at a micro level, because our schools are so small and so basic, and such in such communities where perhaps the entire concept that FLAME throws for school management may not be immediately applicable in a 2-room school or 3-room school.
You're right.
But at least the essence of the ideas which you have introduced, we are trying to adopt them. Like community participation, stakeholder participation is one of the elements that you have indicated in your school management model, and that is something that we have taken forward. Then you mentioned about improving the teachers, improving the environment for the students. So we're exactly doing these things. So it's the same model, I believe, and we can refine it further. So maybe as we interact more and you get more insight into our working, perhaps this can be a research project for a flame researcher to come and see these schools in the field and apply a flame framework, the school management framework in some of these schools, and see how does it fit a small micro underprivileged school, whereas it would ideally fit perhaps a high-end school with all its facilities.
Fuad, there's a question. How could you read my mind? Because I just got a slide ready for you on this system. Okay, allow me just 2 minutes. All of you, please, just 2 minutes. I'll show you a small model, which I was thinking of. And there's a book published by me on this. And I've shared my book with Fawad. That's why he's just talking about it. Just 2 minutes, and I'll show you a slide on this. Just 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, can you see it, all of you?
Yes, it's on the screen now.
Okay, that's the ultimate model I was talking about. This is the integrated school development system. There are 6 cardinals, as I talked about. Top is the leadership. I'll start with the leadership part, where we are focusing on the vision and mission of the school. Unless the mission is correct, down the line everything goes wrong. And then mission must be translated. We should train and develop your head teachers, principals on how to translate the mission into planning, and then improve their communication skills, improve communication in entire organization, develop processes which would support the implementation of mission and planning, and then we should have roles, clarified roles at a school level, and then all documentation is to be done. That's a leadership level. We need to train your principals, head teachers for all these 6 functions. Thereby, your school's top management is all aligned. Then, if you look at the left side, just ignore the basic rising, aspiring at the moment. So there are 5 cardinals down the line: teachers, students, curriculum, resources, and stakeholders. Now, just be with me. The first tier is a basic school. The second tier is a rising school. The third one is aspiring, and my role model is a star school. At the basic level, we just develop the teachers' job skills, which means teaching skills must be developed at the very minimum level. No school can perform or can survive unless the teachers have got the teaching skills. As a result, the students' learning performance should be focused, should be monitored, that the grades, that the learning outcomes are being achieved, and grades are being achieved as well. And we should have a standard conforming curriculum issued by your educational bodies, and your resources should be conventional and commensurate with the delivery of this curriculum. At this stage, your stakeholders should be at least at the information sharing stage. But for me, this is not a desirable stage. This is the bare minimum level of a school. So you can start to develop from here now. Your teachers go for professional development, as Wad said very rightly, certifications. And it's not only certification, it's the diplomas, even the degrees. You should support teachers' diploma and fund for teachers' degrees nationally or internationally, so that teachers feel motivated and developed also. But this is happening. The students should go for personal development. Now you should focus beyond the grades, focus beyond the learning outcomes, and develop the soft skills, communication skills, negotiation skills, communication skills, presentation skills, decision-making skills, like this. So teach them all even the management skills and the leadership skills. So when this is happening, your teachers are developed, your students are now grown. You should now start to add on to your curriculum, make it more interactive, and then your resources should be commensurate. You bring in the IT, where computers, IT can assist delivery of this system, and then your stakeholders should go to the consultative engagement, engage the community, seek their consultation, because you may have your experts sitting in the community. Use them, take the ideas, and implement the ideas. Next stage is your teachers should go to administrative delegation. Now give them authority to run their departments. Give them delegation. And when this is happening, your students now should be taken to administrative participation. They should work under the teachers to run the departments, run the school under supervision of the teachers. And then your curriculum should go to extended enrichment, which means you should add on to the body of the knowledge much and beyond your curriculum to make it more meaningful, make it more life-centered. And at this time, your resources should be computer-based now. It should rise above this computer delivery, should be computer-based, where AI should come in, your interactive software should come in, and your stakeholders now should go to collaborative contribution. They should now start to sit on the boards, sit on the committees, and help the school management and running the school. And the ultimate state is where teachers are taken to the leadership empowerment, train them, develop them through all the 4 stages. Ultimately, they're helped now, they're ready now to run the school autonomously under the overall guidance of the principal. And students are taken now to the leadership delegation. They work under the teachers to run the school at their own, be the owners of the school. And now your curriculum should be taken to student-centered. Your addition, development, curriculum, teaching now should be all student-based. And this is where your immersed technology should come in. It should be the virtual learning technology where students are learning at their own, and just stakeholders go to the leadership participation. They are sitting on the leadership boards to run the school. And down the line, then you have the evaluation and improvement, which will go back to the leadership cycle. And this all is done with the drivers, with the enablers, and within the matrix, where the drivers are, what are the activities we should undertake, enablers, processes, activities which will help the drivers to implement, and the matrix how to judge the performance. And that's where, I mean, for example, that's where the system works. This is just a short intro, Fuad. I hope this aligns with your mission. I suppose that's what the ISDS is now. Now you can go with the rest of the part, Fuad. Thank you much. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So, like you said, sir, it is a gradual progression. We have to start from basics, build on those basics, and then create excellence. At this time, sir, we have schools at different stages. Some of our schools are at very basic stage. The others are moving toward excellence. I mentioned the one in Ubaro and Godki. These 2 schools are performing excellent. I don't know if Ayaz or Hamid can hear me. If you guys are listening, please say something about your schools and the community where these schools are located. Ayaz and Hamid.
Am I audible to you?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes, sir. Actually, the main point you missed to explain here, sir. We have many facilities in the school, and we are also competing those schools who are taking fee. We have a free school. We are not taking any fee from any student. But you have not mentioned here that we are competing those schools who are taking at least 5K in a month. So we are also getting the admission of those students. Their parents are coming to us that you are providing very good facilities in your schools, good education and quality education. For that, we are also getting the admission from those schools. That is the main point.
बिल्कुल आप ठीक कह रहे हैं, I fully agree. Sir, if a free school can attract students from fee schools, so imagine the kind of standards which are maintained. So Ayaz, I'm sorry, ये बात वाकई बहुत important थी, मुझसे मिस हुई, but बहुत अच्छा हुआ कि आपने इसको cover कर लिया इस session में. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ayaz साहब. Thank you very much. Thank you. And really, it's really a pleasure to hear from you कि एक school जो बिल्कुल fee free है, it is competing, I mean, to double कि जहाँ पर लोग private school से लोग छोड़ के आपकी तरफ आ रहे हैं. I remember sometime back KPK had this trend. The people were like leaving the private schools and coming to the government schools. So something was happening in KPK as well on the same lines.
Ji sir, Ishal Chaudhary has a hand up. Please, Ishal, if you want to speak, please feel free.
Hello, Assalamualaikum bhai. That was a great session. Thanks for sharing that. Just a quick question. As you mentioned that it's a not-for-profit organization and you guys are not getting any funding from the local donors. So is that something more like government is somehow funding it at some point, or you are having private or foreign donors who are contributing towards it?
Yes, it's an excellent question, Ishal. I think this is another important point to discuss. Actually, the public-private partnership is based on the principle of stipend per student enrolled in the school. So we have stipends ranging from 1,200 to 1,500 per student, depending upon the level of improvement that you bring to the school. So the greater the number of students enrolled, the more funds the school gets from the government. So it's an incentive as well, and it's a need as well. When you have more children, of course, you need more rooms, you need more training facilities, you need more teachers, and all of this takes money. So with the enrollment, the funds and the stipend provided by the government are correlated with the enrollment. So in public-private partnership, the government is providing the stipend per the student enrolled.
So government is providing funding to some level, yeah?
Yes, and if you consider this with what was happening before the public-private partnership, the cost of one student on the government was to the tune of 5,000 plus rupees per student. And with the public-private partnership, they've come down to a figure of around 1,500 rupees. So it's less than 1/3 the cost for the government, and quality has actually gone up because the non-profit is motivated. They have better managerial facilities. They also pitch their own funds, and they have more experience in education. They're able to actually manage education better, and with 1/3 of the finances, they're able to actually improve the school better.
So thank you so much, bro. One more question, but it's not a government kind of school. It's a private setup. Government is just a donor or a funder to some level.
Ishal, these were actually government schools. Government could not run them, and they started becoming non-functional because the standard of education, while these were being run by government, was so dismal that people were paying fee and moving to private schools. So private schools started mushrooming in remote areas of Pakistan as well, where people did not have the means to pay the fee. So this initiative kind of brings back the government school in the mainstream, and those dysfunctional government schools are now becoming thriving operational schools.
Yeah, beautiful. Sorry, you shared that point, but it was not much clear in my mind. Thank you for explaining it. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you for your participation. It's very encouraging.
For just one more question, Fuad. Like Moawin Foundation, there must be other NGOs working, for example, in a given province, for example, Punjab. So how does the Punjab government ensure that all NGOs are like, they have a same framework for development, same sort of the roadmap for development, where Punjab government can assess, monitor, and see that all the schools are being developed on similar lines, not that each NGO is following its own concept of development. So is there a framework with the Punjab government, for example, for Punjab government?
Yes, sir. There is a clear framework. So what has happened is, previously this Punjab Education Foundation or Punjab Education Initiative Management Authority were running the schools. So they had their own teachers, they had their own staff to monitor the progress of the schools, and they were providing the funds as well. So it was entirely a government enterprise, and it was functioning to a certain extent, not performing so well, but there was a system in place. What they have done very intelligently, I would say, is that what they did was they took out all the government teachers from these schools. The schools which have been put up for public-private partnership, all the government teachers have been removed from these schools, and they've been transferred to other places where there was a need for vacancies to be filled. So in a way, they've addressed the shortage of teachers in other schools which have not been outsourced. And in these schools, the responsibility to hire and manage teachers has been left to the private partner. So that is one. But all the staff that they had has now started focusing on quality assurance tests, monitoring, and evaluation. They also incorporate the Human Resource Development Authority of Pakistan, and this is an organization which is present all across Pakistan, and they actually send their inspectors to schools randomly to check the attendance, to check the quality of education which is going on. And there are certain infrastructural requirements which are mandatory, like availability of clean drinking water is mandatory. Safe building structures are mandatory. A certain kind of gate and board is mandatory. Zero fee is mandatory. So all these mandatory requirements are checked by PEP. And then there are tests, academic qualification tests, which are checked by these monitoring and evaluation teams. So from executioner or practitioners, they have reduced their role to that of monitoring and evaluation. So for that, they are very well organized. They actually have a monitoring management information system for school student attendance. It's online. They have a teachers module online. They have teams deployed in the field. So there are various tools by which they actually monitor us. And if we are failing, like I can tell you that some of the leading education institute that you can think of, I will not name them because it's not polite, but the best of the best that you could think of in NGO community, some of the schools have been taken from them and given to us. So if you imagine the top education NGO in Pakistan. I'm sure only one or two names crop up. So the schools, 5 schools from that organization have been taken away and offered to Moawin Foundation because they were not performing. So that's
Excellent.
how they're doing it.
Excellent. Excellent. Any more questions, please? We're still waiting for more burning questions. What is going alive? Don't let him go alive. You should go on a stretcher from here. Because we are like it's almost 7:11 now, 7:10, 7:15 in Pakistan. So I'm lucky enough to have just 1 hour, back, and it's around 6:15. So we, if you feel like Fuad and the participant, we can just wind it up. Otherwise,
Yes,
if
sir.
you want to put some questions, it's up to you. It's totally free session from my side. It's totally free.
So I think we have been able to send our message, let the people absorb this message,
Yes.
and then we can have a follow-up session on this with some variation, and that would perhaps give the audience more time to think about these things that we have discussed.
Inshallah. So I think this is a good series of the lectures. And for all those who are just sitting listening here, on Sunday, this coming Sunday, the same time we're having a lecture by Mr. Faisal Shabir, who is now sitting among us here, just one of the experts. And the topic is self-management. People have already shown interested, and we have sent the links to them. If you're interested, please just get in touch on LinkedIn, and you'll receive the link for Faisal Shabir's online session also. Sunday, 6 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. UAE is 5 p.m. So I thank you all for taking time out on this Friday. Your weekend is starting, and we don't want to take more time. And Jazakallah khair, thank you very much. And we all are so happy to have you here. And we learned a lot from Fuad. Fuad, so much grateful to you for your time and just giving us a presentation on Moawin Foundation and the PPF also. Really grateful to you on behalf of the participant audience. Once again, Fuad, Jazakallah khair for sharing all these things. All the best wishes to all of you. And please allow me to just close the meeting and stop the recording.